On today's show, it's game day. We've got everything you need to know ahead of tonight's matchup at Madison Square Garden between the Senators and Rangers.
Plus, a handful of Sens prospects are at the tournament March Madness on ice.
This is Brady Kachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Today is Monday, March 23rd, and Pilsy, is 1,500 episodes good enough for you to celebrate? Is that a good milestone for you?
That is an illustrious milestone, Ross. 1,500 episodes, and that's not counting postcasts. That's not counting bonus episodes. That's also not counting episodes of Making Sense of the Sens powered by Sens Central. So we have done a couple of podcasts in our day, and we want to thank everyone for following along the ride.
Yeah, almost 2,000 total if you add in postcasts. But for the daily episodes to get to 1,500, it's a testament not only to consistency, but also to the fact that the citizens keep riding with us every single day, whether the Sens are a lottery team without a pick or if they're making pushes for the playoffs, which they are right now. So we've passed the test that needed to be passed. And by the way, before I move on to the Rangers, it's so disheartening when you beat the Leafs but their fans hate their team more than you do.
Dude, I was saying this to Gil Martin, our buddy over at Locked On NHL and Locked On Islanders. I was saying it was obviously great to beat the Leafs, but it's not as fun when you're going to chirp them. It's like Eminem on 8 Mile. They just say all their own disses to you, and you're like, well, that's what I was going to say, and it's supposed to piss you off, but it doesn't. So,
no, they hate their team.
They hate their team, and I mean, can't blame them.
No, the Sens had more
coming around.
Sens had more shots in the third period than the Leafs had all game.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's now 2 games in a row. And shout out to the comments on YouTube. Always appreciate that. Joshua Renault had this one. In the last 2 games, the Senators' opponents scored their first goal of the game in the third period. And then the Sens didn't allow them to have a single shot after they scored their goal.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Green is like, all right, that's the one you get to allow. No more.
Although it was 2 against the Islanders, right? They did give up 1 in the second. But that said, in the third period when they scored their first goal, and then they just shut it down after that. And that'd be a great recipe for success tonight at the world's most famous arena. I've gotten to see the Sens there twice. It's a great atmosphere. We got our Ottawa crew there, eh? Brody, Pileski, Wes, Harrison, all the boys are going to be down at the rink tonight. Would love to see that, rocking the red. And they got to be loud there because this is a team on the second half of back-to-back. They lost in a shootout yesterday to the Winnipeg Jets. But, Pilsy, are you at all concerned with Mika Zibanejad playing his 1,000th game tonight against Ottawa?
I don't know if concerned is the right word. I definitely don't like it. I'll probably toss a few shekels on FanDuel for him to either score or get a point just because that's how things go up against the Ottawa Senators. Milestones are always happening. 1,000 games. Congrats. Like, that is a great milestone.
It's not 1,500 podcasts, but it's pretty good.
It's certainly not 1,500 podcasts. Maybe he'll get there one day.
And he's a month younger than you. You guys are basically on the same trajectory in life.
Yes, me and DJ Zbad or DJ Zibby. What's his DJ name?
I think DJ Zbad. Yeah,
DJ Zbad. Same guys. I'm gonna start opening up some burger chains. Except I'm gonna do it in my favorite Nordic country in Finland when I do my scouting trip there to rival his burger franchises.
So game number 1,000 tonight for Mika Zibanejad. He's also tied now after scoring yesterday for 4th in history of the New York Rangers franchise for most goals. So
that's a big deal. I mean, original 6 franchise, like that's some decent players going through there.
Yeah, not bad. 280 goals is very good. It'd be second all time in Sens history. It'd be 29 more than his mentor, Jason Spezza. And Mika Zibanejad actually took a lot from Jason Spezza. He scored a few of those goals where he comes down the wing, fake slap shot, make the goalie move, and then slide it in after he makes the miss. But yes, milestone night, not only for us here on LOSP, but also for the 6th overall pick from the 2011 draft, Mika Zibanejad. And ironically, it comes on the day where Lassie Thompson makes his return likely to an NHL lineup. Pillsy, I was looking up the last game that Lassie Thompson played in the NHL. Derek Brassard had 4 points for the Ottawa Senators in a 5-1 win.
Nice. Wait, was that Brass's 1000th game?
No, that was against the Rangers, funny enough.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were bringing that up.
So Brassard played his 1000th game against the Rangers, Mika, but Brassard had 2 goals in that game, so we can't allow.
Okay, I know he had multiple points.
That was Chychrun's first game with Ottawa.
Oh, that was sick. We watched that in Cancun.
Yeah, Cabo. Nice.
Cabo.
Same country.
Dang.
Same country. But what are you hoping to see the Sens bring in from the weekend against the Leafs into tonight's game?
Just replicate that effort. That was a great game by them. Sure, the Leafs got 2 goals, but those were goals on quick, good plays by the Leafs. You have to tip their cap on them. They didn't get a lot of shots, but on those 2 chances, they were good chances, and they capitalized on them. If the Sens can play that tight defensive game, shut down. I'm kind of getting into, are we just doing keys to victory here?
Whatever you want to see.
Okay, well then keys to victory here for the Ottawa Senators up against the New York Rangers is shut down that power play. You might look at the New York Rangers and be like, oh man, they're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They're not doing so good. This power play is still pretty good. 7th in the league in power play percentage at 24.2. If you look at who's on their power play, this is pretty lethal. Their first power play unit, Alexi Lafreniere, Vincent Trocheck, JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad, and Adam Fox. That is a good 5 players. So you're going to have to find ways to shut them down. Next, key to victory, another area where the New York Rangers are very good is the faceoffs. They're 3rd in the league in faceoff percentage at 54.1. Sens right ahead of them at 54.5. And you just played the Leafs, the number 1 team, at 55.4. And the Sens were able to get the best of them there. So you got to win that faceoff battle, especially with the way G was snapping them back in the defensive zone. That was huge for mitigating the opportunities that the Leafs had. So you want to do that same thing up against the New York Rangers here. So shut down the power play, win the face-off battle, and I think you're going to have a pretty good chance of neutralizing this New York Rangers team.
Another good idea. How about going up 6-0? That's what Ottawa did the last time they played at Madison Square Garden. It was 4-0 after the first period. The Sens opened it on a power play, just 2:18 into the first. This was, I believe, the first, if not second, because they played the Vancouver Canucks the night before, where we saw the Cousins, Tkachuk, and Ridley Gregg line, and they contributed quite a bit. Ridley Gregg and Dylan Cousins all had 3 points in the first period of that game. So did Brady Tkachuk. All 3 of those guys had a trio of points. So that would be on the high end of my expectations, but this is a very winnable game for the Sens. And get this, Pills. It's the only game in the National Hockey League tonight. It's a Pride Monday Night Hockey game, 7:30, and all eyes are going to be on the Senators. We're going to have Bruins fans, Red Wings fans, Islanders fans, Blue Jackets fans, Habs fans, all hate watching your Ottawa Senators tonight.
Prime Monday Night Hockey in New York City, Madison Square Garden, the only game on. This is a great spot to be in.
Senators skate at 11 a.m. We're recording nice and early today. Who starts in goal would be your prediction?
Yeah, so it is 9:02 a.m. Eastern right now. I would really like for them just to do the smart thing here and start James Reimer. Because in the last back-to-backs, we thought, okay, you're going to start James Reimer against Washington. That's a game on the road. And then when you travel back home, the more important game at home against the New York Islanders, that's where you start Linus Ullmark. The Senators didn't do that. They started Ullmark in Washington. They lost. Luckily, Reimer was able to help the Ottawa Senators get the win against the Islanders. Regulation win carried by captain Brady Tkachuk. A legacy statement game for Brady there. But Ullmark just played on Saturday against the Leafs. You want him up against the Red Wings. That is a massive game, especially Ross, and I know we'll get into it later. The Detroit Red Wings now on the outside looking in, their demise. Ross has little Red Wings dolls that he's like stabbing in the back, like trying to make
voodoo dolls.
Yeah, voodoo dolls that they're falling just like he's been wanting and wishing this whole year, and now it's starting to come true. So that's a big game. Get Ullmark starting that one, and then Ullmark can start Red Wings, Pittsburgh, Tampa, Florida. Like, he's going to get his game. So why would you start him up against the less important game here? Just do the right thing, Sens. Come on.
What a stretch for the Ottawa Senators right now. Like, they had the 2 days off, Monday and Tuesday. Then they had the back-to-back 3 games in 4 nights with Toronto. Now they're going into 4 games in 6 nights, 5 games in 7 nights, and then it continues with every other day until after the Tampa game, where they can finally take a deep breath before playing the Panthers on Tuesday. They'll have 2 days off between Tampa and Florida. So it's going to be a, hey, who wants it game? And I think the Senators need to come out flying and make sure that they score first. Quick little stat before we get to the lines, Pilsy. The New York Rangers have only scored first at home 10 times this season in 33 games. They've allowed the first goal 23 times, and in those 23 games, they have 4 wins. So if you score first, your chances of winning at MSG skyrocket.
I'll even go further, Ross. You don't even need to score first to have a good chance to win at MSG against the New York Rangers. They are 9-17-7 at home. So in 33 games at Madison Square Garden this year, they have 9 wins. I mean, that is just absurd. Like, no other team in the National Hockey League. Let me just double check this. One other team in the National Hockey League does not have 10 wins at home, and that is the already eliminated Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks have an E beside their name, and we are in March. So that is not the company you want to be keeping in front of your home fans. That's tough.
Are Rangers fans even cheering for the Rangers today? Because they're in a 3-way tie right now for second last in the National Hockey League.
No, I mean, yeah, they got to be tanking. And I mean, my goodness, other than the Edmonton Oilers, in this like generation, has anyone gotten more top 5 pick luck
just
than the New York Rangers?
The Devils, maybe? The Devils had 2 first overall picks. They also drafted Nemec second.
Yeah, maybe the Devils. Yeah, but like the Rangers, what?
Oh, they're right up there.
Lafreniere 1, Kakko and Hedl 2.
Hedl wasn't 2. Hedl was a mid-round pick, like first round pick.
Why did I think he was top 5?
I don't know.
Kakko is 2 though. Yeah,
Kakko is 2 for sure in 2019, and Lafreniere first in 2020.
Okay,
but yeah,
so maybe I'm just making that up. That's not that crazy.
But I think they moved up the most. Like, they hadn't been a bottom 5 team, but they got the lottery luck on their side, like the Oilers did when they won the first overall pick 45 times in 10 years. It felt like so.
And they had to change the rules because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hey, Oilers fans are like, hey, they changed the rules after we got McDavid, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's a decent time to change.
Yeah, we don't need the rules anymore now that we got McJesus in the mix here. But yeah, for Ottawa tonight, just go out and do your thing. We'll talk about the Lions next, keys to victory, and we'll wrap up today's show with a little tournament talk. It's March Madness on ice, and 7 Senators prospects will be taking part. We'll preview that at the end of today's show. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The tournament is here on ice and on the court. One of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upset. It's nonstop action from tip to final cutdown. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. Here's the best part. You get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. You can mix it up however you want. Game picks, futures, or even same game parlays for potential payouts. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new, different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. And hey, It's prime Monday Night Hockey, the Ottawa Senators' only game happening, and they are favorites against the New York Rangers, minus 196 on the money line, over under set at 5.5. So go check that out at FanDuel.com. Visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Quo. Spring is a natural reset point, and if there's one thing that can quietly cost businesses money, it's messy communication. Missed calls, scattered texts, no clear thread of who said what. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O. It's a smarter way to run your business communication. Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2 with over 3,000 reviews, and it's trusted by more than 90,000 businesses. It lets your entire team share one business number so you never miss a call, text, or opportunity. Everything lives in one clean, easy thread: calls, texts, voicemails. The whole team sees the conversation, so nothing will fall through the cracks. And the AI summaries of serious time by logging calls and highlighting the next steps automatically. It just makes your business feel more organized and responsive. Make this season the one that no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo free and get 20% off your first 6 months at QUO.com/LockedOnNHL. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNHL. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen each and every day and helping the Locked On Podcast Network become the #1 sports podcast network. You already make us your team every day, so go official and join the Everydayers Club. You can join through the Supercast link below. You'll get ad-free content directly where you listen to Locked On Senators. Shout out Michael Wilson, John Tam, Cassandra Beauchamp, everyone who's joining us recently, as well as the OGs. By the way, our good friend UK Sens fans, 4-1 on their first trip to Canada. That's awesome. We're going to have them on soon here to recap their trip overseas and how they became Sens fans. Really cool story there. And we know they're hoping for 2 points tonight when the Senators take on the Rangers, 7:30 p.m. from Madison Square Garden. Pilsy, this one is an easy one to get up for. I know the Rangers stink, but when you're going in and starting a 2-game trip, 2-day trip, and you're going into New York City, you need to be bringing your best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've had a couple days off. You had a big win at home against your provincial rival. Let's keep it rolling here. And the Sens have an opportunity to have a big week here. Like, take care of business in New York, then massive playoff implication game tomorrow against Detroit. Then you got Pittsburgh. That's another one with big implications at home. Then you get to come with us to the Sunshine State, big games up against Tampa, then Florida. Like, each game you can look at and see the importance here, and it starts tonight.
Starts tonight, and this is the crew that we think will be in the lineup. And the reason why we think and don't know is because we'll see how Travis Green organizes his decor, as we will not be seeing Dennis Gilbert after the game against Toronto. Head coach Travis Green saying that he will miss some time. Really tough. They do have Lassie Thompson up, mentioned earlier in the show. He's likely to slot back in. We have Nicholas Matinpalo sliding over to the left side. But Pilsy, do you not think it's a little more realistic to say they're going to roll 4 on the right side and Thomas Chabot will just play more minutes than ever before?
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Chabot's going to play a lot. Jordan Spence is going to play a lot. I think the combo of Matinpalo and Thompson will be, I'll set the over-under at 11 minutes.
Up front, Tim Stützle centering Drake Batherson and Claude Giroux. The second line is Dylan Cousins with Brady Tkachuk and Ridley Gregg. Third line is Shane Pinto, Nick Cousins, and Michael Amadio, followed up by Lars Eller between Warren Fogle and Fabian Zetterlund. On the back end, Thomas Chabot with Artem Zub, Tyler Klevin with Jordan Spence. We got Nicholas Matinpalo there with Lassie Thompson. Still no word on starting goalies. It was a victory the last time the Senators took on the Rangers at MSG. That was a game started by Linus Ullmark. So we'll see if the head coach goes back to that or if they're saving Ullmark for that humongous game tomorrow against the Red Wings. Pilsy, your locked on player to watch is
My locked on player to watch is Claude Giroux. I still got his jersey hanging up behind me in my jersey case, the Reds, number 28. Ross, I would like to take a moment to put some respect on Claude Giroux's name. I mean, he had a goal up against the Leafs. I think he's quietly having a better season than he's getting credit for. Right now, he's 6th on the team in Sens in points, 43 points in 69 games. He's played every single game, 12 goals, 31 assists, a team best plus 20. This guy is plus 20 on the season. What does he continue to excel at? The face-off, 62.6% in the dot. He's got 3 points in his last 4 games. Like, I know people say, why is Claude Giroux on that top line? He's slowing down Timmy. He shouldn't be in the top 6, let alone the top line. We need to get faster, better shooters playing with Tim Stützle. And that's all fair. I can agree with that. But let's not have those opinions come at the cost of disrespecting Claude Giroux. This guy still got it. And being a guy that played in Philly for a long time, he has played a lot of games up against the New York Rangers, 76 games against Rangers in his career where he has 64 points. So this guy has a lot of experience playing at MSG. So coming off a game where he just scored a goal, I'm going to be locked on to Claude Giroux tonight.
The LOSP stats department has determined that plus 20 is the best single season mark by an Ottawa Senator since the Hamburglar run season in 2014-15. And that year, Mark Mathot was plus 22. Mark Stone was plus 21. That's how far back you have to go. Not the 2017 season. Nobody hit plus 20 in that season. Mike Hoffman and JG Pajot and Thomas Chabot last year was plus 17. The other two were during the 2015-16 and 16-17 season. But Claude Giroux, man, unreal. Plus 20. Yeah. Love to see it. Nick Jensen, by the way, last season was plus 18 as well. But plus 20 is the best mark by a Senator since the Hamburglar run. So nice call there, getting Giroux out. And I do feel like Travis Green's done a good job of getting that line out there in the right situations. And Giroux's face-off ability came through huge in the game against the Leafs as well. What did he go, 6 for 7, I believe? Maybe that was just against John Tavares, but he had a great night in the dot, which is par for the course.
He went 9 for 12.
Yes,
overall.
yes. And he's going to have a tough time tonight, too, because Vinny Trocheck on the other side, one of the best face-off guys in the National Hockey League. We'll get to the Rangers lines in a couple of minutes. My locked-on player tonight is going to be the horse, Thomas Chabot back there, because he's going to be playing even more ice time than maybe even recently without Jake Sanderson, where his ice time has risen to be the number 1 in the National Hockey League. Nobody's played more than him over the last 7 games. And he's been doing it, I would say, a little bit more quietly. Like, it's not like Jake Sanderson where you notice him every shift because he blows by guys and defends one-on-one better than anybody. It's obviously huge shoes to fill. But what Chabot, I think, has done an exceptional job at is his efficiency at moving the puck and not wasting speed bursts, not wasting energy in different situations, while also not looking out of place and not looking like he's slow out there defensively. So I want to see that continue, really working on when he's going to pick his spots. Travis Green mentioned the game, I think against the Islanders. Yes, the Islanders game. He said Shabby was being very calm and conservative through the first 2 periods, but then realized and had enough gas in the tank when they were pushing late and they kept rolling out that Chabot-Spence pair that they were able to get offensive opportunities because he had enough gas in the tank. So let's make sure that Shabby's got that filled up. I'm sure he had a nice off day yesterday. Any off day for him is going to be very important for recovery while we're waiting for Sandy to get back. But Chabot's been great since Sandy's been out of the lineup. So he'll be my locked-on player to watch tonight. You look at the numbers, everything with Thomas Chabot has been, I think, getting better and better as the year goes on, which is what you want to see. Of course, there was the circumstances of his partner and everything else that went into his play. But even including the game that Sanderson got hurt, where they beat Seattle 7-4, Shabby's got 6 points in his last 8 games while averaging 28.50 time on ice. Incredible. So he'll be my locked-on player to watch.
Yeah, I mean, 2 alternate captains right there. So let's see these guys help Brady Tkachuk lead this team.
And we know that Brady Tkachuk has had moments at MSG. Talk about a 1,000th game for Zibanejad. How about Brady's 500th game where he fought Trouba at center ice, tied the game late, won it in overtime, tried to do the exit stage left. He was on Broadway. He goes, hey, let's make this like a play. But unfortunately, the door wouldn't open for him, so he had to stay on the ice.
You think he goes toe-to-toe with JT Miller off the puck drop here?
Nah, I don't think so. Not tonight.
I don't think so. Yeah.
But I would like to see a little bit of rough and tumble action from Brady. Had a good first shift against Toronto. Felt like he was able to set the tone a little bit, but a bit of a quieter night after that. But that's all right. Okay. The boys picked him up, and he had his moment against the Islanders, but would love to see him come through against the other New York team, the Rangers, tonight. Speaking of which, let's look at their lines next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. Skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed worldwide, according to Indeed data. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. That's less time searching, more time interviewing, less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show, you're going to get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on the Locked On Senators podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Welcome back, Locked On Senators. We will have the live stream tonight. Jack Richardson will take you through the highs and lows of tonight's game. So make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Senators on YouTube and hit that notification bell. He'll be live at 7:30 tonight when the Senators take on the New York Rangers. The Sens come into tonight's game 2 spots out of the wild card. They're 4 points back of the New York Islanders, who with a win over Columbus yesterday, jumped the Red Wings to be in that playoff spot. However, the Sens have 2 games in hand on the Islanders. They have a game in hand on the Red Wings, who they're 3 points back of, and the Bruins, who sit in the top wild card spot. The Senators are 5 points back of Boston. You can even say they're 5 points back of the Montreal Canadiens, who have the same amount of games played, but the Habs currently sit in 3rd in the ridiculously competitive Atlantic Division. So this is who the Sens are up against tonight. It's a New York Rangers team that's coming off a shootout loss yesterday afternoon to the Winnipeg Jets. Mika Zibanejad in his 1,000th game will be the top line center between Gabe Perreault and Alexis Lafreniere. Second line is Vincent Trocheck with Will Cooley and Taylor Radish. Third line of JT Miller, Ty Cartier, and Connor Sherry. And the fourth line is David Enstrom with Johnny Brodzinski. And I'm going to torch this name, but let's go with Schmuller. Good Czech kid coming out of Providence College. Yeah, that's sorry, Yanni, but
Yaroslav.
Yeah, Yanni. That could be short for Yaroslav.
Okay.
What do you call him? Jerry?
Jaro?
Jerry plays in New York City, though. I feel like there's a few Jerrys in there from Seinfeld and beyond. On the back end, it's Vladislav Gavrikov with Adam Fox. It's Matthew Robertson with Braden Schneider and Connor Mackey with Will Borgen. You got Igor Shesterkin starting in goal. Pilsy, that is my lookout player to watch. Don't think the Sens were going to score 8 goals at MSG if Igor Shesterkin was in net. They lit up Johnny Quick last time. Shesterkin's one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League. He is, though, coming off one of his poorest performances. He allowed 5 goals in a 6-3 loss to the Blue Jackets on the 19th, so he's going to want to get back on track. He's lost back-to-back starts, but he's still a perennial goalie in this league. A .912 save percentage is still top 10 in the National Hockey League this season. And despite the Rangers being horrific this year, he still has a 22-14-6 record. Like, he's an amazing goalie. A 2.56 goals against average is actually better than his stats were last year. All across the board, his stats are better than they were last year. So if you're the Senators, try to get to him early. This is quite the run of goalies outside of Saturday and Joseph Woll. Like, they had Sorokin last Thursday. They had Logan Thompson the game before, and now you're looking at another elite goalie in Igor Shesterkin. So just try to get to him early, man, because if he starts getting in a groove, Sens fans know this. Last year, I believe, Shesterkin had an elite performance. I believe he made 40-some saves against Ottawa and only allowed 1 goal. In his career against the Sens, Shesterkin is 6-1-2 with a 1.88 goals against average and a .938 save percentage. That's the second best goals against average he has against any team that he's played against.
All right. So, yeah, the Sens have their work cut out for them for sure. My lookout player, going to be number 50, Will Cooley. This guy, I don't think he gets enough credit for how good of a power forward Will Cooley is. Right now, he's 6th on the team in Rangers in points with 32. He's got 16 goals, 16 assists. But where he stands out is the hits. He is top 10 in the league in hits. He's got 242 hits on the year, and this is what he does. This is just his 3rd full NHL season. He's got 242 this year. He had 301 last year and 249 the year before. So this guy's laying out the body, and last year he had 45 points, including scoring 20 goals. He's on the second line here with Vincent Trocheck and Radish. So that's a guy that he's going to be laying the body, but also you can't give him too much time and space because he can put the puck in the back of the net too. So Will Cooley, that's someone I've always liked ever since he came into the league, and he's going to be someone I'm looking out for tonight.
And their center depth is pretty damn good. When you've got JT Miller on the third line, Trocheck and Mika Zibanejad, guys down the middle who are going to be playing a ton. One note as well, Ty Cartier got traded at the deadline from Seattle to New York. In 12 games, he's got 8 points. So keep an eye out for Ty Cartier on that third line. Should note, though, he's played 5 games against Ottawa, no points, -6 in those games for Ty Cartier. But he's playing well right now.
That makes me more nervous, Ross, because he's bound to snap that curse eventually. Just quick note, weird seeing a Rangers lineup with no Artemi Panarin.
It is very
I was looking at this and I was like, something is missing from this roster. And yeah, no Panarin.
No Panarin. He is now a Los Angeles King. All right, Pillsy, that's tonight's game. You had your keys to victory. Mine is going to be just dominate. I mean, the Sens have just been playing so well right now. Don't change a thing. Just play hard, play structured, and you should come out with 2 points tonight. I don't want to overthink it. There. In the little, you know how they do on TSN where it's just like 2-3 words? Don't overthink it. Okay. Just go out there, win a hockey game, and move on to tomorrow. But don't overlook it either, right? Like, overthinking would be about the implications for the Detroit game tomorrow. Like, singular focus, lock in. This is not going to be a cakewalk. You're going in on the road. Go win a hockey game, please.
Love it.
All right, Billsy, let's turn our attention to the world of Sens prospects. So we got 7 of them. I know that people are down on the Sens prospect pool, but we got 7 prospects at the NCAA tournament. Features 16 teams. It starts this weekend. And we got some guys on like highly ranked teams. Penn State's in the mix. Obviously, they've got a lot of firepower with Gavin McKenna and some other young kids that they stole from the CHL. But it's goaltender Kevin Riedler that'll be in net for Penn State when they take on Minnesota Duluth. Theo Wahlberg with Western Michigan. They're going to be taking on Minnesota State. Hoyt Stanley and Cornell. By the way, Hoyt Stanley just named a finalist for the best defensive defenseman in his conference. Great to see from awesome dude.
I like how they have defensive defensemen. I think that should be something the NHL should implement, having some sort of award for defensive defensemen. I mean, heck, there's an award for basically best defensive forward, but not the defensive defenseman. So I think that's something that we should look into.
Yes. Then you have the Wisconsin Sens, of course, without Logan Hensler, season-ending injury for the Sens 2025 first-round pick, but they still got a trio of Sens prospects with Blake Montgomery, Tyson Dick, and Bruno Ejon. They'll be taking on Dartmouth this weekend. And second-round pick, Philip Nordberg, will be taking on North Dakota with Merrimack. Merrimack just had a Cinderella story for the ages in winning the Hockey East tournament. Was it Hockey East? I think it was Hockey East.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because they beat UMass. Like they just shockingly won this. So maybe they can upset North Dakota, but I mean, Philip Nordberg, not necessarily a top guy on that team. I know what you're thinking. A second round pick's not a top guy on a lower level NCAA team. Yes. I'm not making
a second round pick from years ago.
From 2022, 2 picks after Lane Hudson.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily a whoops because they didn't have a chance to get him at 62.
Fair. But I mean, yeah.
Still tough.
It's not great.
Is there a player that we should be most focused on of those prospects? Who are you hoping to see pop off?
Well, I mean, the easy answer is the team of the Wisconsin Badgers.
No, that's not mine.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to go with Kevin Riedler.
Me too. There you go.
Okay. With
Goalie friendly show.
They're going to have expectations. And sure, Gavin McKenna can light it up all he wants, but if you can't get saves, it's not going to get you very far in a single elimination knockout tournament. So Riedler is the one guy that I think has got a lot of pressure here.
Well, we're hoping that he plays, right? He didn't play in the tournament, but they lost to Michigan 5-2.
Dang.
So
get him in
I don't
there.
know. Get him in there. Why wouldn't you? Right? We'll see how things shake out. But it is a fun tournament to watch. You might remember a few years ago when we had Sanderson and Pinto and JBD and Tyler Clevin. They had that 5 overtime game in the tournament.
Crazy.
Yeah. So this can get wild. It's madness. It might not be the same as the basketball in terms of popularity, but it's as exciting of a tournament. So we'll be following that along as it develops. Pillsy, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me is I'm excited for this one, Ross. I'm excited for this week. My bachelor party coming up this weekend. So why not have the Ottawa Senators roll down to Florida, continuing a winning streak here? Let's go.
And that's the thing. Winning streak is my final thoughts. Let's get a big one. It's been a great stretch, but they haven't won more than 3 games in a row on this stretch, going back to the game against Vancouver where the season turned around, where they won 2-1, right? They had 2 wins and then a couple OT losses. Then later on, they had 4 straight wins. Sorry, they did have 4. It moved over to the month, so I missed that one, but 4. They need to get a 5-gamer here somehow. Yeah. So you win the next 3. And make it 4, just so the Tampa game is involved there. But they need to have a nice stretch of games here. And I think this is the time in the schedule to get it done. But you can't overlook it. You can't move past this team. You got to win it in regulation because we think with how tight things are, it might come down to a tiebreaker at the end of the day. This team is too good not to make the playoff. And they're too good to lose this game. So go out there and get it done.
Let's go.
All right, Pillsy. Let's go. 7:30. We'll have the postcast for you immediately following the game. So make sure to stay tuned after the live stream on YouTube. And then it will be available for your morning drive tomorrow, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks so much for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with not only this show, but all 1,500 daily shows since we joined the Locked On Network. It's been an absolute treat to be able to carry through the highs and lows of Senators fandom over the course of the last 6 years. And we hope that there's 60 more years at the end of this road. So for Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.